From wrestling arenas around the South, Gunkel Enterprises presents All South Championship Wrestling. Recorded live and on location with top professional athletes bringing you all the excitement of the ring and the mat. And now, here is your host for All South Championship Wrestling, Ed Capral.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Capral, and this week we're speaking to you again from the Atlanta Municipal Auditorium in Atlanta, Georgia, before an overflow crowd here of several thousands of people who enjoyed the best in professional wrestling, presented by Gunkel Enterprises Incorporated, Mrs. Ray Gunkel, promoter. This week again, some exciting live action matches we know you'll enjoy, so stay tuned. We'll be back with match number 1 after this timeout.
This event, one fall, 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, in this corner, from Belton, South Carolina, at 231 pounds, Tommy Seigler. His opponent, from Columbus, Georgia, at 229 pounds, a nice welcome for Dick Steinborn.
All South Championship Wrestling comes to you from Atlanta, Georgia this week, from the Municipal Auditorium in the downtown portion of the city, as Championship Wrestling continues on the road, presented by Gunkel Enterprises Incorporated, Mrs. Ray Gunkel, promoter. Tom Ernesto is with us here at the microphone, and this is quite a main event. Two men, I believe, who have a lot of respect for each other. Tommy Seigler from the state of South Carolina, Dick Steinborn from Columbus, Georgia. And we're ready for action. I didn't check the time limit, Tom. I think it was one fall.
One fall with a 15-minute time limit.
Right.
Ed.
You'll see some fine wrestling style in these two men. Watch Steinborn move low as he comes in on his opponent.
This should prove to be a very exciting match, Ed. They're both in fine, superb condition. However, I would say that Steinborn has the edge on experience. It's very obvious that he would have. He's been wrestling in much longer than Seigler. However, Seigler has come an awful long way in a very short period of time.
There's a good move by Seigler on Steinborn with an arm twist. I do want to say one thing, Tom. A lot of fans may not know this. I've checked around the country, of course, having sources to check, that Georgia is one of the very few places in the entire nation where the promoter will take the crew on the road and actually present the matches from the various auditoriums. And now we're in about our 7th or 8th program.
Yes, I'm very pleased to say that Mrs. Ray Gunkel has done a magnificent job doing this. Of course, it takes a great deal of expense, as you know, Ed. You produce our matches on the road, and we've got quite a technical crew. But I think the results have just been most gratifying, especially to Mrs. Gunkel. She wants to bring the very best professional wrestling to the people of Georgia, and I feel that they are getting it here. And certainly the outstanding, tremendous crowds that we get each and every week that we go out on the road, and the many, many fine cards, letters, and phone calls that we get at Gunkel Enterprises Incorporated. This proves the fact that she is doing a wonderful job, and the people do appreciate it.
There's Seigler with an arm bar on Dick Steinborn. Now Seigler moves up. So watch Steinborn try to counter here.
Very good, great run.
Seigler holding on. Steinborn, watch the counter now. Off the ropes. Body block. Steinborn goes down. Beautiful arm drag by Seigler.
Seigler, it is giving Steinborn a very hard way to go. And,
certainly is. And too, you know, this crowd here, they like Tommy a lot, and they like Dick a lot, and It'll be interesting to see as the match picks up momentum who they'll be cheering for.
It's going to be real hard. Steinborn is very, very good with his legs, and attempting to grapevine his man or hook one of those legs and tear it down if it's at all possible. But Seigler, on the other hand, is blocking very, very well.
There's a body slam trying to come out of it, Tom, and he does not.
No. Seigler's really got a real rugged hold there and being very tenacious with it. He just refuses to let Steinborn break it.
Now there's a Seigler with an advantage further on Steinborn, and I want you to tell me, Tom, exactly how he has this arm barred. He had it in an unusual position, I thought, for a moment.
Yes, he did. He's attempting to get around and twist it behind Dick and stay at a point of advantage, of course, to the side and behind of his man if he possibly can. And of course, Dick, on the other hand, is trying to stay facing him and not give Tommy this advantage. And I think what Dick is trying to do now is maneuver around to where he can reach in and hook one of Seigler's legs with his leg.
There's the arm bar by Tommy Seigler, and he maintains it on Dick Steinborn. He's held the advantage here now a few moments. As Steinborn comes up and comes to his feet. They're off the ropes now. There's Seigler trying for a body block. There's an arm whip and a hip lock.
Beautiful hip block. Beautiful flying mare. The kickoff.
Very fine turnout of people here at the Auditorium in Atlanta, Georgia, enjoying these two men in this main event of All South Championship Wrestling. Sitting with us is Mrs. Ray Gunkel, our promoter in Atlanta, Georgia, and of course the co-promoter with your various promoters across the state.
Sorry, get it from that side.
I just wanted to invite Mrs. Ray Gunkel to say hello, as many fans are watching this match, and I did want to say she is seated at ringside, and you probably can't see her, but I know you can hear her.
Thank you, Ed, and I'm enjoying the matches, and I know the fans are.
Thank you, Mrs. Ray Gunkel. There's a fireman's carry by Steinborn on Seigler, and he puts him up on the ropes right above our microphones. A very dangerous place for any promoter, particularly our lady promoter. The men were right above her head about 2 feet a moment ago. Arm bar on Steinborn by Seigler. I made the comment on an earlier match, Tom. I was very impressed by the way this particular referee, and I should know his name, but the young man moves around that ring and stays right on top of the action.
Yes, he's a young gentleman. Pardon me. His name is West, Ed, and he does a very, very fine job. And, he has refereed all over the world, and he's very fast. He's right on top of the action at all times.
Well, here again, Seigler has an arm bar on Steinborn. He's maintained that advantage for some time. 5 minutes have gone by. In the ropes again. Steinborn out of the way. Seigler beats him coming up. Goes for a body. Goes for an arm drag. Does not make it. Steinborn in behind. Seigler moves away very nicely. Steinborn kicks up. There is the arm drag by Seigler. Now a head scissors by Steinborn. And Dick gets the advantage. A good series of maneuvers on both men's part. The left arm of Steinborn was a bit bothered there by the series of arm drags by Seigler and the arm bars. Now Dick has a moment to rest the left arm as he applies the head scissors to Seigler.
Doesn't have too much time to rest, Ed. You notice he's got a lot of pressure on that arm, and he's got to keep the pressure on that scissors. And he doesn't have too much time to rest that arm. You notice he's supporting all of his weight on the arm.
Now Seigler trying to come up and break out of the head scissors. He's in a good situation to do so here. He's got Dick straight up now. I don't see how Dick can maintain the pressure here, Tom.
He's holding it. I'm sure he'll take him over, which he did.
Steinborn holding on to the head scissors. Now Seigler twists out that time. He could have hurt himself, but he got out. There comes Steinborn again for the advantage. There's the butt. Oh, but Steinborn underneath. Now a headlock. He goes for the head scissors and gets it once again.
Steinborn's making some beautiful moves there. He's really opening up. Of course, he's having his hands full with this young man. And it could go either way.
Steinborn holding on to the head scissors. Watch Seigler now for the counter. This is the type of wrestling, the same caliber of the top men you will see each week in your local arenas across this state of Georgia, as Gunkel Enterprises and your local promoters bring you the very best of professional wrestling. Such names as Dick Steinborn, Ox Baker, the Assassin, Argentina Apollo, Tommy Seigler.
And I believe we have an advantage here, Ed, if I may pardon me for interrupting you. I'm sitting here alongside of Mrs. Gunkel. She's not saying very much. She's watching very intently, and of course, I think we have the advantage with having Mrs. Gunkel here as our promoter in the state of Georgia, because her and her late husband, Ray Gunkel, traveled throughout the world extensively. She traveled with Ray, and she knows good wrestling. She knows the moves as well as anyone that I've ever spoken to, and she demands a great deal from her wrestlers, and she demands top-notch competition. As you can see, here are two of the most competitive wrestlers that I've ever had the privilege of watching.
One fall with a 15-minute time limit. We'll check the time for you. 7 minutes have gone by. In a very fine match, a main event here of TV wrestling between Dick Steinborn and Tommy Seigler.
Certainly seen some rugged competition, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am. I would say, Mrs. Gunkel, wouldn't you say that this is as good a competition as you've seen anywhere in your world travels?
Yes, it's really a night of excitement.
That's a beautiful fireman's takedown, Ed. A real beautiful move.
Now the arm stretch by Steinborn on Tommy Seigler. Well, as we told you, across the state of Georgia, from time to time a night will change, but not very often. Monday night is wrestling night in Augusta and Columbus. Tuesday night is wrestling night in Atlanta, Georgia. Thursday night in Athens, Georgia. Also in Savannah, Georgia. Saturday night in Carrollton and Covington, Georgia.
And I'm very happy to announce, Ed, that starting very shortly, we will be in Marietta, Georgia. In fact, we're in Marietta now. Our first matches will be here next week.
Also on Friday night, there's a good move on Steinborn by Seigler. I was watching that. Almost had him a 2 count. I mentioned Friday night, and I saw Dick moving in on Seigler there a moment ago. And Marietta will be having some matches on Friday nights. We'll tell you more about that later on.
And we're also in Thomaston on Friday nights.
Right. Those are some of the cities where you'll see the top-notch professional stars you see here on TV. Steinborn stalking his man now, coming after Tommy Seigler. Tommy Seigler out of Belton, South Carolina. Dick Steinborn out of Columbus, Georgia. Good move by Dick. He goes in behind. And I know that the many, many thousands of fans here at the Auditorium in Atlanta are thoroughly enjoying this main event.
They certainly should be, Ed. This is some of the finest wrestling that I've ever had the privilege of watching. Tommy's behind Dick, and he's in real good position over him.
There's Seigler in behind now. He tries for the advantage. He tries to keep with Steinborn. Steinborn is very elusive.
Very.
There you go. In the ropes. Looked like for a moment that Steinborn was going to move out, but now the ropes breaks it up. 10 minutes have gone by. That remains to go 5. Both men looking about as fresh as they did at the opening bell.
Yes, they did. And they are. You notice Tommy Seigler has a few mat burns on his body. They've been scraping, and those are caused by tremendous pressure. And when you skid across that mat and someone like Steinborn's on you, we're carrying that extra weight.
And somebody's also had a wound which has opened up here in this match. There's a headlock on Steinborn by Seigler as he grinds it out. I believe it's Seigler who has a small abrasion on his left arm. He comes over with Steinborn, maintains the headlock. And I've been trying to determine, Tom, as we've gone along, to see which way the fans have been cheering here. It's been pretty even Steven.
I think it's an even Steven match.
Right.
Ed. The people are really appreciating what these two men are up there doing. And I don't believe the crowd is at all pulling for any one man more than the other.
Oh, tremendous hip lock, and he rolls, keeps Steinborn with that headlock.
I think Tommy's had somewhat of the advantage both with the arm bar and the headlock. The combination of those two holds, he seemed to have had the advantage over Dick most of the way.
Three minutes left. 1:15. In the ropes. There's Steinborn trying to trip up Seigler. There's a beautiful hip lock that caught Seigler and brought him across the ring. Now
Steinborn's moving in. He realizes he's got to push this young man a little bit, and he is pushing him. And the experience is beginning to show. Steinborn is really pouring in.
Seigler, being very aggressive, comes after his own hip lock, and he brings Steinborn over. Arm whip on Seigler by Steinborn. There's a beautiful...
It's almost a pin. No, Steinborn come out of it beautifully. Steinborn really come out of that beautifully.
Tom, I lost it. I had nothing else to say. They went 6 ways from Sunday that time.
They certainly did, Ed. They really switched. They counter-switched, and there again, that showed Steinborn's experience and the outstanding maneuverability he has in that ring.
Before I could name one thing, they were in something else. Now both men coming off the ropes, less than 1 minute to go. There's a beautiful backflip by Seigler on Steinborn, and
Beautiful
Steinborn
backdrop.
may be hurt. His lower back caught it. Oh,
Driving slam, Ed. Beautiful
Steinborn.
driving slam.
Steinborn kicks out. Now 30 seconds to go, and this time could be a factor if Steinborn may be hurt here. There's a beautiful hip lock again on Steinborn by Seigler. Here's the count. Steinborn kicks out. Now about 10 seconds
This is
to
where
go.
Steinborn could be real dangerous. No, he's pulled his back or done something, Ed.
No. Steinborn has hurt his back. We mentioned it earlier. We saw it when it happened. He could not recover from that. However, he kept his opponent away from him, kept him to the time, and that's what our decision is going to be between Tommy Seigler and Dick Steinborn in this main event, a time limit draw.